We are bringing Britain to Manhattan, and I brought the #1 offender from Britain, Justin Hast.
Today we're here at Bremont, and we're actually going to go through a few different watches that caught our eye, but we're going to boil it down to one. We're going to boil it down to one watch that legitimately we would put our own hard-earned cash down
What
for.
are we walking out of this boutique with? It's a British weekend. It's all happening. Let's get into Bremont. Let's get started. Thank you, Justin. All right, here we go.
But Bremont's always held a very special place in my heart. Funnily enough, and I've never talked about this before, but the English brothers who founded the brand,
Giles and Nick, yeah.
Giles and Nick, lovely men, no longer in the business now, but they, funnily enough, actually were a case study. Now, I was a complete dropout at school, but they were
not surprising.
They were a case study of mine at school in business studies. So I studied them at school for A-levels in my business studies class.
Interesting.
So they were off to India trying to introduce British watchmaking to India. You know, look, over the years there's been some evolution, and actually now, today, I think it's a really exciting time to be here because we've had a few years since Davide's come in as CEO, the new CEO, and the brand's gone through an evolution, both in terms of the brand DNA itself and the styling of the models. So it's a cool time to be here, genuinely.
Let's get watches in wrist as we keep telling the story, because I know when you do a long discussion without picking up a watch,
we're in trouble.
We're in trouble. I'm going to start with one of my contenders, which is a Supermarine GMT. The Supermarine, I remember in the early days of Time+Tide, I first saw the Supermarine and thought, this is bringing something new to dive watches. And it was as simple as seeing the matte bezel. I liked the desaturated matte dial and the matte bezel. And I was really pleased that in this evolution, that not too many aspects of the Supermarine were kicked out. This watch was one that, in the early days of Time+Tide, this was an aspirational kind of watch for me. A Supermarine with, I remember it so clearly, and I watched our video over and over again. But yeah, this was one that was an early distinctive memory, not as much as the next two, but Supermarine GMT. Interesting touches here. We've got this, I didn't know this about the case, but it actually has this slightly, it's not actually a rounded case. How would you describe that? There's sort of a...
it's shaped.
It's a shaped case. There's a sculpted sort of shoulder to the lug. That's interesting, but that's not the feature for me. The feature is this. I love aluminium bezels. Much prefer them to ceramic. I don't even know if I own any watches with ceramic bezels anymore. They bug me. So we're talking $4,500 US for this, which is pretty fair. You've got like a bullet style bracelet that's quite, I haven't seen anything quite like this.
And that's a new addition for the modern Bremont era, because that bracelet is entirely new in recent years.
It's an interesting gradient on this. I didn't know this. I thought it was just a radial gradient, like as in light to dark on the outside, but it's actually, there's a stripe. There's a linear gradient with a stripe down the center that's more green. But again, just solid proposition, a brand that has Britishness sewn up and a price that's pretty reasonable. So $4,500, or just under that. That's my choice. That's my contender, but I'm not saying whether I'm taking that. Oh, I need to say some other final specs. 40 millimeters, under 13 millimeters thick, and like 47 lug to lug. So for the spec monster people out there, for the spec people out there, that hits the sweet spot. It is thick, but you're getting 300 meters water resistance. Not too many slim divers out there for the reason that it goes with the territory. But that's my first pick. Sorry, I forgot the specs.
No, you're good.
I'm not a numbers guy.
You're not going to get many specs from me, because for me, it's actually all about what it's like to wear on the wrist.
Yes,
and the emotion towards it, which is why I've chosen the Martin Baker, the MB Meteor, as it's known now. This one with the orange barrel, triptych case, which has become the design icon of the brand, and it's still the case today, even though it's been highly reworked. And I gather, speaking to the team, that this was based on feedback from military units, and apparently there's over 500 military units around the world that Bremont still support. And the feedback was, yes, you know, this was great performance-wise, but actually a little bit thick in previous iterations. So new movement and heavy.
Yeah.
So titanium now, a lot thinner, reworked entirely. So on the wrist, it just wears so much smaller, and it's so comfortable.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm a little annoyed, if I'm honest. I mean, firstly, 1 versus 1. Who you go? Who wears it best? Put yours on. Show me. But I'm a little annoyed because that is my second choice as well. And let's be honest, Justin. We can go there. Bremont can take this. The brand essence, the brand values of Bremont have been challenged by the new leadership. And I think they've been asked to come on a journey, and they've been asked to come on a journey quickly. And I think sometimes things can move too quickly for people that are attached to what they love about the brand. What I love about Bremont is the Martin Baker. I had an original Martin Baker, and I loved everything that was awkward and gawky and sort of difficult to wear about the watch. I kind of loved its thickness. I loved this domed crystal that was also not perfect, because I was always worried about banging it, even though it was super tough. But I must admit that my attachment to the original, when I removed my attachment to what that represents about Bremont and looked at this objectively, the new one is better. It's definitely better. And the fact that at however many Gs, have you ever flown at, what do you call it?
We should actually say the reason it's called the Martin Baker is because for anyone who's new to the brand, that doesn't know the story, Martin Baker, the ejector seat manufacturing company in the fighter jets, and these were tested to withstand that ejection. And if you actually were ejected as a pilot in one, you would get, I think it was purple.
It's a red barrel, I think.
Red barrel, yeah.
One of the two.
Either way, you know, and
it's
in the
a
watch world,
bragging
we're
right.
looking.
So you can apply, if you can prove that you've ejected from a seat, that you would then gain access to a red barrel version, which is pretty cool.
And in the watch world, we're looking at anniversaries the whole time. We're looking at innovation. Everyone's trying to find something as a hook, design-wise or technical. And let's be clear, the Martin Baker, it was good from the outset, and it's good today. There's been evolution, and look at any of the great designs in the watch world, from the Saab to the Nautilus to the Royal Oak. It's a case of evolution, and what we've got here is an evolution of that. The numerals have been refined, the case has been refined, the date window has been, there's a bit of design feature around the date window and the running seconds as well. So.
And this one has a really cool touch. So the reason I chose the blue, I love this smoky blue. I wear a lot of navy, a lot of blue, but there's also this cool touch of the British RAF symbol on the second crown. So you've got a bit of extra British there, but
and give that a wind on there, because you'll see the inner bezel. So I think the lower one is the inner bezel.
It's the inner rotating bezel.
There you go.
And it's also it's stepped. As in you feel each click, as
click.
Opposed to like the Longines Legend Diver is just a continuous twist. Nice little
satisfying, right?
Little sound too.
It's good.
So that's actually, I'm sorry, that's stunning.
That's new for this year. So earlier this year, that was launched. Never before done in this blue, with a brushed blue, which is RAF blue. So the Pantones come from the Royal Air Force. I can't believe it's actually never been used before from Bremont. But
at the end of the day, to me, the only iconic Bremont watch. Sorry, that's true.
So I'm going to just, I don't know if this is a negotiating strategy or what, but I'm going to call it now and say this is my pick. So I'm actually going to go in.
But now there's no suspense. Okay. Well, I'm going to sustain. I'm going to keep.
I'm going to call it there. This is my pick, because I agree with you entirely that if there were one, it absolutely has to be an MB.
Every brand wants an icon. You can say what you want about Bremont. This is an iconic watch, and they've actually gone into aviation and thought, okay, we have some really famous aviation watches. IWC have a lot of share of voice. Breitling have a lot of share of voice. We're going to go for an ejector seat, little niche, and they've owned it, and it's actually a really cool space, because that action of ejection guarantees robustness. That's cool.
And I tell you why, I found over the years, when I try a watch on, don't know if anyone else finds this out there, but when you put it on, you don't want to take it off. That's the sign. That's the sign.
I do like
and I've put it on, it's damn comfortable. I love the Velcro,
Can I ask the people,
it is NATO.
Which one are you feeling out of these two? Because this one loses, like the knurled barrel of this watch does look better in orange. I'm gonna give you that.
I'll push back and say I think that blue is a very dynamic blue for pairing with whatever you want to wear. I think it's a little bit more dynamic.
I want the barrel orange.
I love the orange. Don't get me wrong. I love the orange, but I think the orange might be a bit trickier.
But it's hidden. You only see it.
It is hidden.
Yeah.
It is hidden.
You really only see it on that twist.
I happen to love Velcro straps. I know this is a NATO Velcro, which is quite an unusual combination, but there's just something about that I particularly love as well. And also, just looking at the profile here, there's something lovely about that sort of brushed central barrel there and the viewer's perspective from wearing it. Anyway,
You've given away the game,
I've given away the game, but do you know what? That's because I just want to be straight down the line and I don't want to mess anyone around. Okay. But I'm going to give some honourable mentions as well, because I think there are. And this limited edition, the Supermarine, is a single block of ceramic. For the very first time ever, a single block of ceramic from the Submarine family. And I just love the simplicity of it. It does have this interesting wave style to it. Can I see it on? I like the wave dial, the white wave dial. It does come in black. There is a black version that's part of the collection. But for me, I like a light colored dial. It is a larger case, but actually, again, I think it's 43. But actually,
the white kind of works with the denim. Like, it's definitely fresh, isn't it?
I like that. And so it comes on
starkly monochrome.
Yeah, it is. I like the rubber strap. Interesting addition to the rubber strap, sort of these chevrons embossed on the rubber strap. Ultimately, I just like the touches of orange again. I've got a bit of a thing for orange. Favorite color. And it's just simple. It's simple, but then there are touches that make it not. They didn't have a ceramic black case, but in this instance, monoblock ceramic case. Again, it's been reduced in size.
Got a little HRV.
Yeah, helium escape valve there. I really like it. So that's my honourable mention.
Good.
Where are we going next?
My last, well, having sort of staked everything on the MB, I have to say this is novelty done right. This is an MB with a Felix motif. And the Felix figure hits me a little bit sentimentally because it's such a New York thing. The Felix cartoon character was first sort of released in New York in 1918. Macy's Parade, cartoons, all of this American culture tied up with it. Now that we have a studio here, I get an extra little pang when I see New York iconography. The cuteness of this Felix running away with the 6. Of course, the Felix is connected to aircraft, and it was on...
In the Navy. It was aircraft in the Navy, I think, in the US. And for me, what's lovely about that is the connection to the US now. Being a British brand, under ownership from an American...
Exactly. It's sort of the connection to here. So I've chosen a second MB to link us to bring the authenticity of Bremont and the MB to New York specifically. And the fact that the Felix figure is running away with the 6. I could imagine showing this to someone at a dinner party or to my daughters and just saying, isn't this cute? And when I first saw the renders come through for this, I was like, this is actually a good example of novelty. Because I think brands sometimes seeing how whimsy and playfulness and cheerfulness is the flavor of the day, sometimes that overt playfulness can just go wrong.
I like it as well.
This is great. And I'm quite obsessed with the MB as a Bremont model. And again, specs are great. This is an all black DLC, so you're getting quite a stealthy all black vibe, the popping yellow. It's all about
I love seeing a watch. I love seeing a watch being worn by someone else across the table, and you can really see how thin it wears, like how svelte it wears actually to the wrist. It's the case construction now is such that it's really ergonomic. I think they've done the work there. I really do.
They've done the work, and this hits the right tone of still being a watch that for 99% of people that see it on your wrist, they just see this quite stealthy, slick, black-looking watch. But then for those that get a closer look, there's a cool story. And of course, you don't want the story to end with there's affirmations on the date wheel. You want the story to be, this is Felix. Felix is connected to Bremont's heritage. Felix is connected to America and Britain. Felix is, there's this story of running away with the 6. There's a lot to say.
The campaign was great. And that actually leads on for me nicely to the fact that a lot of the brand storytelling now is entirely fresh versus where it was before. I loved where the brand was many years ago, but one of the things I've noticed is
totally new trope.
It's playful, it's fun, and it's fresh. I'm going to come at you, Andrew, with my final pick.
Okay.
For consideration, although...
It's a beast in there.
Supernova.
Absolute beast.
Supernova chronograph 2026, came out earlier this year, stainless steel. But
wears like a 55.
It wears a tad big. It comes on, we did have a rubber strap here as well, but it does come on a rubber strap as well as the bracelet. And what I like about this, now, it's not the watch I'm leaving with today. It's possibly a step too far for me aesthetically, but I love the ambition of it. I love the ambition of it because in the watch world, you just don't get entirely fresh design takes very often. So we left the show this year when this was launched, and there was probably 4 or 5 fresh designs that came from nowhere that we were excited about, and this was one that was being discussed. It's a watch that's actually designed to go to the moon. It's being developed with a company developing a lunar rover that's effectively going to the moon with it on a SpaceX rocket,
Justin,
and it's going to be left.
You interrogating
We've
the
got a bit of
lovely
footage.
Bremont person here about But hang on, if it's on the moon, how is the automatic function going to work if the lunar rover is smoothly gliding across the landscape? And I'm just feeling so sorry for this guy.
I nearly pursued a career in aviation. And rocket science was where they suggested I should consider pushing into.
There's a reason they say it's not rocket science.
I didn't go into that in the end, but my question was, my visuals of people on the moon is that things tend to be quite slow and steady.
Apparently, asked this question.
Apparently, the movement of this rover is such that for its tenure, which is only a few weeks, it's only going to be moving, and it has other artifacts in the rover itself. So this is the watch.
Music and
just the head,
and culture.
Just the head is in there, but it's got other artifacts, and it's going to go on a mission. It's going to move enough to wind the rotor, and then it's going to be there.
Live there as a.
It's going to be there forever
For the aliens to become Bremont customers.
So this is the first British watch on the moon,
yes,
as I understand it.
Yeah.
Entirely fresh. The Luminova's bonkers. Even the subtitles, the layout's inspired by satellites, space satellites. The Luminova has sort of a 3D, almost like a 3D effect on the dial, so it really is vibrant. The only thing I would adjust, I think, is the date window. Always divisive. I'd probably not have that, but the Rehort's got a real stark, aggressive angle to it. Even the bezel itself.
Yeah, it's a spiderweb sort of vibe, isn't it?
It has. It's got lots of depth to it, lots of character.
Look, the undeniable thing about this watch is that it's just incredibly bold for a British brand that has no provenance or really legacy with the moon to just be like, we're putting this on there. The physical proportions and nature of this watch relate to it having to pass various tests that relate to lunar performance and the robustness.
The rover has gone through the tests. All the other assets on board the rover have gone through the tests.
Yeah.
This has met the criteria.
I think it's completely nuts. I think it's insane. It's Bremont just thinking, obviously there's new investment in the business, there's new energy in the business, there's an attempt to internationalize the brand. Certainly there's an attempt to bring it to America with the Felix motif. So it just speaks to a brand that are questing really hard. It was a narrative leap that very few were comfortable to take at Watches and Wonders, but again, you have to, the stones on these guys, I relate to that.
Land, sea, air,
space.
And space.
So let's get down to it. We have the same pick.
Have we actually?
We have the same
pick. Go on,
pick.
tell me, break it to me.
This is it. This is it for me. This is what I would walk out of here with. It's undeniable to me that this is a watch that even bigger brands maybe lack a recognizable single icon. I think this is Bremont's.
It's the thing everyone's fighting for.
I haven't talked about the specs either. So this is 49.3 lug to lug. It's 12.3 thick. So it's really fantastic Goldilocks dimensions.
And in titanium, it feels entirely different to previous editions. Here we go, 2 months.
Is that a letdown, or is that proof that this is the choice for you?
No, I think, look, that's fresh for this year. So that dial color, you've come out and you've picked something fresh.
RAF blue.
Yeah.
Liquid black outline on the hands that I'm seeing now. Lots to discover with this. Justin, we have an event to run tonight.
Yeah, there is.
So we have...
Take your flag.
Got to take this bad boy with us to the next thing, but it's been a joy.
We're on Madison
Avenue
right now.
Yeah.
Where's the Time+Tide?
It's 460 Broom. So I'm taking my flag with me, and we're gonna move on.
Brilliant.
But let's see how far we can get before security brings us down.
Let's do it. Okay.